dances through the endless night, whispers of old tales in her wake. Serene, the dawn she'll break. She leaves spells with every breath, a touch of magic defying death. Serene, a song in the coldest air, an ancient rhyme that finds us there. From mountains high to the silent seas, her power spreads with the winter so keen. She guards the secrets of midnight skies, adventuring where dreams arise. From mountains high to the silent seas, her power spreads with the winter's breeze. A cloak of snow she softly wears, Rena in twilight flares. A legend born of frozen tears, carved in silence through the years. Her story echoes in each break. Serene and hard she'll stay. She weaves spells with every breath, a touch of magic defying death. Serena song in the coldest air, an ancient rhyme that binds us From mountains high to the silent seas, her power spreads with the winter's breeze. A cloak of snow she softly wears, an ancient rhyme that binds us there. An ancient rhyme that binds us there.
Welcome back, my lovely snowflakes, or welcome in if you're new here. It's Serena Magic coming at you again today with more Dungeons and Dragons. We are on episode 6 of the Sorrowverse. I'm sure we will get a recap done once we get everyone gathered, but we are in for yet another fun time. Should not be a 7.5 hour debacle this time. No promises, but shouldn't be. But without further ado, we can go ahead and get to the role-playing table. Oh, I need to switch to the D&D Fujitech. So everything's a little messed up. Da, da, da. It's not a stream without a little scuff, right? There we are. Get this switched over to the D&D style. There we are. That's better. Much better. And we're just waiting on Lay Blue Cat.
Oh, well, Roman dipped for a second. It
okay.
looks like.
They'll be back, though.
Yeah, they will.
In the meantime, I am going to go use the restroom real quick then. See.
We return you now to your regularly scheduled program.
Sparrow said, Blue Cat is finishing a hunt and will be with us shortly.
Come on. Come on, you little menace. Get in there. Okay, now that the prisoner has been secured again. There we are. Okay, looks like we are in an ad break anyway. For a minute 14. There we are. Okay, TTRPG. Roll 20. Okay. Let's get this all reset. Oh, and I just got my tracking set up to use my phone instead of using my webcam since my webcam has been fuckety lately. Oh,
Yeah.
there's Lay Blue Cat.
Hello.
So who wants to recap the 7.5 hours of last session?
I have PTSD.
From the session or your character from what they did in the session?
Both.
Sparrow said, yes.
I think that about sums it up, right, Maru?
No.
Where did last session start? Because I know where it ended. No, it was before the castle. Oh, it was before. Oh, yeah. That was a really productive night.
You started on the cliff.
Yep.
Starting on the cliff.
Yep.
We
With
started
cliffhanger.
on the road after meeting the floating man.
Yep. We started at the cliffhanger.
Yeah,
Okay.
the floating man who didn't introduce himself. And none of you asked him who he was.
I asked
Didn't
what
he?
he was called. I just
Oh,
don't
yeah, you
remember
did.
what the answer
Yeah,
was.
Oh, yeah, he said, I'm the word binder.
Yeah.
You said
I
they call me
did
the word
ask.
binder. Yep.
I did ask what he was called. Okay. I'm on top of things sometimes. Sometimes. But yeah, we started with that. We ended up getting partially down the road. We ran into Honor. Was it Honor?
Creed.
Creed.
Yeah.
Honor's younger brother.
Yeah, Honor's younger brother, Creed, who had a lot of very fresh men that were honestly well disciplined and were being well trained. And well, Fear and Terror decided that they didn't need to exist anymore and slaughtered them all. So in return, we slaughtered their men. Creed slaughtered Terror?
Fear.
Fear. Sorry.
Fear.
It's really easy to get those mixed up. We captured Terror.
Yes, we did.
To take him back to the capital.
Yep.
Yep.
To face the
A prisoner.
Wardeness. But first we had to stop off in the southern capital to deal with Joy. We met Joy and Hope and Captain of the
And
Guard.
you'd also just met Joy's left and right hand men, so
Yeah. We did a truth circle thing to prove that we weren't lying.
We were lying. but only through a mission.
Well,
only
about the
through a
incidents
mission.
that brought the prisoner. We were not lying about the incident that brought the prisoner.
Hi, we were here on state business, he said, knowing what it was.
I mean, it's truth. We are there
truth.
on state business.
Sometimes you're just on a state trip.
So we got rid of that debacle. After that was all taken care of, Joy announced a feast, which is how we ended up carrying out our duties to take Joy out. By poisoning his wine. And it was all just... It basically all went according to plan. Sorrow's men were able to come in and restore order after some riots in the streets also occurred. Unfortunately, the pretty awesome Captain of the Guard did seem to lose his life, but there is somebody wearing his skin, basically. Someone who looks eerily like him, taking his place and using his name.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, looks exactly like him.
Yeah. Sorry. Gotta clean my glasses off so I can freaking see things. Creed ended up basically storming out because he knew that the Captain of the Guard was not the actual Captain of the Guard, or at the very least had the suspicions. And so he stormed out and was heading towards the main capital, and we caught up to him on the way and took him to the capital and we all just traveled together after we found him. Let's see. Was there anything else that happened? Okay. When we got back to the mountains, there was like a war band set up with all sorts of people from all over the realm. We ran into Horror. He's still a bitch. Horror tried to assault Sorrow. That didn't go well for him. And it was great.
That was.
And yeah, we got some like magic items and stuff, and we got paid. I think that's all that happened that I can remember right now.
I was supposed to spend the next week figuring out what I was going to get as a magic item, and I still haven't figured it out.
Okay.
Not the same as I didn't think about it. Yeah, not the same as I didn't think about it. I just haven't been able to answer myself yet.
No, that's fine. I understand that. Let's start there. By the way, how much money did I hand you guys again?
Sparrow
I think
said,
50.
I got my eyes on that Gucci bag sitting in the corner.
Yes, 50 gold pieces. That's what I thought I did. Okay. I'm just keeping track in
Yeah.
my head.
All good.
By the way, she basically just handed you most people's retirement fund,
Yeah.
Yeah, that's fine.
and she did it casually. She's just
Yeah.
like, it wasn't even
Yeah,
like a, this is gonna, No, it was just, here, money.
Have this.
Here is a small sum as thanks.
Here's a small sum as thanks. Oh, and you can also get a magic item, which you know is
A
also
token
like,
of my appreciation, and your actual payment is this magical item.
which is probably 100 to 10,000 times what people would make in their lifetime.
Fine. It's fine.
Literally in a room filled with magic items worth more than most people's entire life's work. And it's like, yeah, you can
Casually
pick any
richer
of
than
them.
most legacies.
Yeah.
Just like most people, most legacies.
Yeah.
Father to child.
Yeah.
Entire bloodline, as far back as we've known. This fortune, about half of what she has.
In one room.
And
Yeah.
in a single room.
In just a room, yeah. Uh-huh. Anyway, magic items and you. Well, and me, specifically.
Yeah, because Sorrow
I'm still...
or Sparrow and Absolution already chose theirs.
You see, well, yeah, because there's the boring option, which is the Bloodwell vial, which is very cool, but kind of boring. Being able to get back more of my sorcery points is also useful. 5 sorcery points every short rest is really useful. On its
Yes.
own.
Yes, it is.
But the other option is wild magic. One wild magic, I think, because I'm not the...
Oh,
Yeah, if you don't have the wild magic origin,
Hightails.
use once.
Tails is probably going to be fucking up my camera tracking a couple of times, but it is what it is.
It is what it is.
That's what cats do.
Yep.
Cats be catting.
I don't know. Both of these options are hilarious to me.
Both of which options are hilarious to you?
My magic items.
Oh, yes.
Yes,
Feywild Shard, which says, for me specifically, or for Phelan specifically, it says once a day when you use a meta magic, Wild Surge. And if the result of the Wild Surge is a spell, you can't alter it. Just too wild. Or the other option is the Bloodwell Vial, which is a +1 casting focus that also gives me back 5 sorcery points every short rest.
Not bad.
It's not bad. 5 short rest means I feel less bad about using them all the time. So it's the option I would like to do. I don't know that Phelan is the kind of person to actually do the Bloodwell part of the Bloodwell Vial. To attune to it, you have to, by rules as written, to attune to it, you place a few drops of your blood into the vial.
Well, if it makes more sense for your character, then do the other one.
Yeah, that's what I've been sitting here the last week trying to do. 'Cause I think the Bloodwell Vial is the right choice. I just don't know if it's Phelan's choice. I don't know. I think she does it. I think after knowing what's ahead of her, I think she has the resolve to do it.
Okay.
So yeah, final answer. Choosing
Final
the
answer?
Bloodwell Vial. Yeah,
Cool.
Bloodwell Vial. Yep.
Roman, so your official choice is the bag of lay holding?
Sparrow said, correct.
Perfect.
Can I interest you in the alternative special bags? Like a handy haversack.
Or the really nice quiver.
Handy haversack's the only real comparison for a bag holding.
Listen, I really like that magical quiver, okay?
I do too, but
Counterpoint.
it's got a
Go.
ranger.
Counterpoint. No.
Well, it was actually BOH. Bag of
Oh.
holding.
Yeah, bag holding. Yeah, that's fine. I was making sure you considered the handy haversack before you made this choice, that's all.
Ah,
You have great.
no. Hi, Tails. Let's not have you moving my model all over the screen.
Pick it Acrobat open. Since I'm not going out for a walk tonight, even though I really should.
All right. So you've selected all your items. Describe to me how you think your character finds
Also,
the.
the haversack is a rare item.
Oh yeah! I forgot.
You forgore. It's okay that you forgore. Anyway, describe to me how you find the item amongst the different things in the room.
So,
Brief description's fine.
oh, let me also switch models. There we go. So kind of what I was thinking is like I know like technically there is a quote unquote canon description for a headband of intellect, but I was thinking maybe the one that Sorrow had like a bit of a different design to the circlet itself.
Yeah, that wouldn't be unexpected at all, actually.
And I was thinking a circle, possibly, if you're okay with this, a circlet of red roses and thorns.
Yeah, that's fine.
And so, with its striking resemblance to her father's sigil, that's kind of what drew her to it.
Cool.
Can you not be knocking all my stuff over, please?
No.
I also would not want to be typing right now. I need leather bracers.
In real life?
Yes, in real life.
Sparrow said, I believe after giving a few things a cursory glance, recognizing a few of the items, I walk over to a bag resting against a wall and instantly pull it off the table. I'm a wanderer, aft. All, and there is nothing more useful to one who roams than more storage space that's lightweight and easily carried.
All right, Kazu, how do you get drawn to this vial?
Faye walks through the displays, looking at this, that, and the other. But her sorceress nature is drawn towards a specific vial in the corner. Well, not in the corner. Laid out. Off to the side. Not in the corner. She walks up to it. As she can tell, just from the way that it is, not the physical nature, but the magical nature. She understands that just from a cursory examination, that power begets power. As a magic item, it's something that will help her be more effective in the future. She will. She doesn't think too much more than that. She doesn't ponder how it might be used. She just understands that out of all the items in this room, this was made for her. And besides, it's out of all the artifacts here, it is the most mundane looking and non-traditional thing. So fuck it, intellectually curious too. Yoink.
This tells me a lot. Okay. So, as you pick your different items, you said circlet of intellect, right?
Or headband of intellect, I think, is the actual term. It literally just makes the wearer's intelligence 19.
Yeah, I'm just making sure to look at everything that you guys are grabbing. Yeah, it's headband. Cool. Bloodwell vial. That's what it's called, right?
Yeah, Bloodwell Vial +1. Because it also comes in +2 and 3.
Yeah.
Something that she may be interested in learning how to enhance herself in the future. Instead of, sacrificing more blood to more things. People
And
might
the
look at you
bag
funny.
of holding. Yeah. So anyway,
I have managed to calmly kitten.
okay. So as you guys select your items and go to leave the room, Sorrow kind of like briefly stops each of you, starting with we're going to start with Arena and Absolution. And as she goes to leave, Sorrow stops her and adjusts the headband on her head to center better, and like is fixing her hair around it, and says, "Intellect serves many things, and for the inquisitive mind, it is of invaluable use. This suits you well. Very pretty."
Thank you.
And just to make this more rapid fire, I'm gonna do causes real quick.
Huh?
As she picks the Bloodwell vial, and that sort of thing, Sorrow very briefly kind of looks at it and comments, "Ah, looking for more power. Ambitious. It can take you far. But be sure that it does not drown you in aspiration."
Yep. Thinks, right, she ponders this very thoughtfully and just nods. There's nothing more to add to that.
Yeah, no, that's not like a threat or anything
Yeah.
either. It's literally just a,
Genuine advice. It's really good advice. For somebody inexperienced, absolutely.
well, and you can almost tell that it's like, it almost comes from a place of like, I've been there. I've done that. Don't do that.
Yeah.
Because though it doesn't like look at it look like it right now, there probably was a time where Sorrow did get in over her head
Mm-hmm.
and had to learn where that was. And then it's just when it's just Sparrow and Sorrow in the room, seeing him choose the bag of holding, he comments, "A humble item to grab, but practical nonetheless. It helps in whatever you're doing. Makes traveling lighter. And travel is what you want. After being trapped away for so long, yes? That's how these things usually go." I'm actually really happy that Kazu didn't choose a cloak of displacement, by the way.
I would never dream.
Yeah,
Oh,
totally
Like, cast my own blurs, thank you.
Oh, also a rare item. Cool, good.
Yeah,
Excellent.
also a rare item. But I just wanted something that attuned to sorcerers anyway.
But babe, I have the prisoner in hand.
Hey. How long does it take? It's been so long.
Sparrow said, I figured I should choose with what I plan to do in the future in mind. This, and I pat the bag, seems like it will help the most. Simple as that.
It's a practical understanding of the world and future. It's admirable. After you, as she indicates the door.
I'll nod and head through, adjusting the strap of the bag to be more fitting to my shoulder.
As Sparrow leaves, Sorrow closes the door behind her. And for those of you with magical like attunement, and so kind of a little bit of an ability to feel the magic around you in the world, when the door closes, the magic of the room you were just in seems to be completely cut off.
Well, shit.
Huh.
As if the door is blocking the fact that there's magic from being revealed to everything else. And now you're just in the armory part of the room.
What you doing, Tails? Where you going? Just adjusting? Okay.
Sparrow said, So feel free to roast me for this. But how much did we get again?
Well, it was 50 gold, but now for you it's 2.
That's fair.
But yeah, 50 gold pieces each. As you all make your way out of the armory and into kind of like back into the hallway, She closes that door as well, and then looks at all of you and says, "Join me for the evening meal. Got a while to freshen up, if you would like."
Of course.
Yeah, they looks to her compatriots. She has no strong opinions.
I think a longer bath is in order after the last endeavor.
Such ordeals can cause the need for a cleansing, yes. Oh, also, just so that you are aware, you will not be the guests of honor tonight. That belongs to another friend of mine that will also be there.
Of course.
I hope you do understand.
Of course.
She gives you a wave as she walks away. Disappearing into the depths of her house. The three guards who are her kind of personal detail within her house following after her.
Friends, before we leave and rest and relax, we were made an offer. I would like to at least have some base discussion. How do we feel about it? Working with her, I mean.
Honestly, it's better than having nowhere to go. For sure.
Oh, you especially.
And
I know you wish to travel and see the world, so this would tie us down to some degree.
for me, it would be a great deal safer, I do believe, than going out on my own.
I'm just realizing how little the recap actually told people what happened in that session because there were a lot of exposition in last
Yeah,
session.
yeah. Do you want me
Yeah,
to
but we
slam fire
can't be
my point
taking
of
an
view?
hour to do a
Yeah.
session
No, no.
recap.
Let me slam fire my personal highlights from it if people really need missed the last 7 hour session.
I mean, it is on YouTube, but also that's 7 hours to watch.
7 hours of my life I'll never get back. Anyway,
You
Do
know
you
you
want 'em
love
back?
every moment of it.
I would like a partial refund for that for the time I spent zoned out last session
Oh yeah, because you took that shot after the
because I
combat.
took a shot after the combat and that was a mistake. I'm not doing that tonight. Caffeine instead.
New Sparrow config for Rena.
Huh?
Posted into the DMs thing.
Ah.
But yeah, Roman, do you got anything to say in this moment?
Sparrow
Or
said,
aha,
Sorry was doing character sheet cleanup. Adding stuff.
Gotcha. No worries.
Yeah, I'm using the one with the mask right now, so I'm not gonna worry too much about changing it out at this very moment.
Did you hear Faye's question?
I did not.
Fantastic. She's asked her party how we feel about continuing to work with Sarah, since I believe she offered last session.
Yes.
I know that I know Mara said she was meant to.
I don't know if we did that at the end of last session, but the end of last session was at the end of 7.5 hours. I was actually going to have her offer after dinner today.
Oh right.
If
No,
you
no, no,
wanted
no.
to
It was Severin Stavros. So Sir Stavros mentioned that people are free to leave.
Yeah.
That's what it was that I remember.
Yeah, he mentioned that people are free to leave her service if they want to. No, but
Yeah.
actually, that was Hope mentioning that.
Yeah.
Let's hope. Yeah, that's it. I remember what I heard. I don't remember who said it.
There was a lot of fucking Listen, bro, it was
You
7.5
said it. No, the
hours.
GM said it as a character. I don't remember which one. Okay.
It was
The
one of
DM
the
said it.
rain.
Yeah, somebody mentioned we were free to leave her service. We keep telling people under her service. Faye is asking how Sparrow feels about being in her service, staying here. So she wants to have some base conversation, like if offered, would we stay, or would you rather leave and
Sparrow
explore?
said, I'm not sure. Everything we've seen and heard would lead me to believe she treats those she works for well. Better than most, at the very least of it. But,
This we don't need an answer now.
Yeah.
There's no offer currently on the table.
And I do
I just
imagine.
want to make sure that we've talked about it in the case that we are done with an offer at dinner.
And I do imagine that since she is wardeness over the entire realm, there would be quite the option for travel.
I would be willing to bet we could always ask anything we want.
And on the better side, well funded travel.
True. Well, I see the typing.
So let's hope I don't need my mouse for a little bit.
Why? Cat got your tongue? I mean, mouse.
Uh huh. Cat does have my mouse. Laying on top of the cord.
Sparrow said, I'll continue to think on it. But for now, let's get cleaned up and go to dinner. Him.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
You do what you're going to do to get cleaned for every party member. Interacting as much or as little with the staff as you prefer.
Mm-hmm.
But you are eventually gathered by some of the household servants who come to you to inform you that it is almost time for the meal to be served and that you should come to the dining room. An entire room just for dining.
Of course.
Ludicrous.
Absolution will make her way down. This time taking a seat to the right from the end other opposite end of the table.
On her way down, Faye has begun to visual cast comprehend languages, just in case the guests of honor don't speak common.
So I'm going to guess that the three of you kind of come out of your rooms immediately, kind of as you're summoned, so you're coming down mostly together.
Yeah.
As you get to the door, it is opened by one of the... hold on, I'm going to let Roman type out their thing they were saying.
Sparrow said, For this, I leave by the nightstand in the room I was staying in. My mask by the nightstand asterisk.
Okay, yeah.
Okay.
Those were an important 2 words to include in that sentence.
Before we even make it to the roof, Phalanx pauses because she realizes she's never seen Sparrow's whole face. And as a general purpose gesture of goodwill, she pulls off her gloves and stuffs them in one of her pockets.
You would have seen Sparrow's face on the road. Because they would have confiscated the mask.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
This is the first time I've seen her do it on purpose.
First time you've seen him do it on purpose, yeah.
Like, fully willingly. So it's like a gesture of respect. She just silently pulls her gloves off and tucks them away.
Yeah, Absolution's identifying mark being uncovered would require completely new clothing. So.
Sparrow said. Which means it's the first time since the prison trip that people can see the feathering on his face.
Yep. Yeah. I'll try to capture that sometime within the next week. It's just especially with the cat on the mouse. Can't exactly do things.
All right. As you guys walk into the room, you hear a familiar voice coming from the head of the table. Yes, it was interesting traveling here with the caravan. We ran into 3 of your emissaries, actually, on the way.
Oh, he's back.
And almost standing on the chair directly to the right of Sorrow is a familiar halfling.
Yes.
Dave, not rushes, but walks briskly to shake his hand and warm welcomes. Like, oh, it's so good to see you again.
Right next to him sits his wife, and he looks up at Phelan and goes, "And these were the 3 I was talking about. Quite lovely bunch of, quite lovely group, actually. How did you get back here so fast? You were going the opposite direction. Never mind." They were quite lovely. They ate the food. One of them even speaks halfling. And he looks over at Absolution and speaks very quickly and just very sweetly. "It is very lovely to see you again, my dear," in halfling.
She'll reply back, "You as well." Once again.
He pretends to not hear that with comprehend language is odd.
And oh, so polite they are. And they got an early inspection on the goods that you had ordered from me. Goodbye to the craftsmanship.
Yeah. They nods, looks to Sarah, and said it certainly met fire standards.
Oh, I certainly hope it does. I paid a small fortune for them.
I've noticed.
Yeah, they were very well weighted from what I felt.
Sparrow said. If I recall, I told you I'd never seen their better.
Mr. Underhill is laughing at all of this, and upon Sparrow's re-acknowledgement of the compliment, gives a bow from where he's standing on the chair. His wife, slightly mortified that he is standing on the chair. But that's just so he can properly look people in the eye, you know? Gives a flourishing bow and says, "Yes, the young lad did say so, but also a small fortune." And he, questioningly, and then looks at the 3 of you and says, "Don't let her deceive you. She paid a king's ransom."
We know.
However, I've made many a king's ransom from the fine Mistress Sorrow for various things I've made for her.
Oh, it's good she keeps you well in business.
Keeps me well in business. I think she's trying to get me to retire.
But then who would make her goods?
That's what I keep telling her. I thought I saw Roman typing something, but apparently not.
Oh no, I'm trying to get mobile Discord to play nice.
He motions emphatically for you to sit at the table, but he seems to be very insistent that you all sit very close to where he is at.
Who am I to say no?
Sparrow said, I'll acquiesce to that request with a hum and a small smile.
And he's just kind of nodding emphatically and just very excitedly going on. Well, and I'll say, that army gathering down there, what are they there to deal with? I hadn't heard of anything that requires such response. And Sorrow, just sitting there, hands clasped together in front of her, resting her chin on them, just says, "Oh, there are things happening quietly that I think may require that attention. My father agreed, and so he called everyone together. Though, to be fair, he was thinking about it anyway. That's why he had me look into it. My father has a good nose for incoming storms."
It looks like she's going to say something, thinks better of it, and just very interesting.
But in comes the food. And at the exact moment she said that, the door opened and the first course was brought in.
Smells heavenly as usual.
I have all but one of the finest cooks in the realm. And she is looking directly at Mr. Underhill's wife, who just smiles and says, "I am flattered by the price that you continue to raise every time we speak, but I must continue to refuse. The kitchens of my inn are where I belong, and I cannot remain away for too long." And Sorrow just smiles and says, "Oh, I will eventually find the correct price." And they just have a laugh between these two. Mr. Underhill finally sits down instead of standing on his chair. Because, it's finally time to eat, and that's the only thing more important than talking to people.
True.
He may talk.
But-
Absolution will always listen.
Notably absent is Sir Stefan Stavro. or anyone else, for that matter, sitting at the table.
Sparrow, pardon my curiosity. There are usually more people in here.
Yes, there was business that needed attending to in the city.
I
They
don't
should
think
be along
it is.
shortly.
Oh, good. Then it wouldn't be the same without Seven Sparrow's fifth peach cobbler.
This gets a raucous roar from Mr. Underhill and his wife, both laughing. It's just like, he's never stopped at 5?
Oh no, 5 is when you know dinner has started.
Just more laughing as the first dish is tasted, approved, and then passed to everyone else.
Absolution still taking just polite portion.
You know what? Given recent events, today's probably a little light on the food too.
Mr. Underhill is not. He has a plate that's piled about half his height.
Fair enough.
And he is digging in with absolute aplomb to the horror of his wife,
Uh-huh.
who is eating politely, but notably also a plate of food half her size. So, you know.
Yeah, today's dinner today is cautious. The plan is half as much on the plate, but twice as long, because we're probably going to be here for a minute anyway.
Yeah, the dinner is kind of going very well. Mr. Underhill's not even talking business anymore at all. He's just eating.
It's like it's hard to talk with your mouth full.
Yeah.
Sparrow said. Second verse same as the first, vegetarian options on Sparrow's plate, and eating with practiced etiquette.
Yep.
And as we expect nothing else of our songbird.
I will say, Absolution's plate would probably lean a little bit more towards the protein side of things.
Mm-hmm.
Just because that's usually the easiest source of energy.
Plus carbohydrates. By the way, did you guys ever eat that bread?
Yeah.
I've sometime on the yes.
It was the first ration we bit. Faye bit into because it was the freshest.
I was trying to remember.
Yeah, we wanted to have it while it was still at least somewhat fresh.
I don't think you ever asked us out loud, but I had planned on it being her first ration. So.
All right, excellent. Anyway,
Okay.
Something you would have noticed when you ate that bread, by the way, is that it like really revitalized you.
Yeah.
And was warm as if it had just come out of the oven.
Yep.
The several hours later when you ate it.
Yeah.
So there's that.
But yeah, she would do a slight lean towards like proteins and carbohydrates.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's lots of like actually veggies too, because veggies have a lot of carbohydrates in them as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, Faye's eating mostly veggies. She's taking a little protein. Fighting's a lot of work. He's hungry.
But Mr. Underhill does bring up one question during the course of the meal.
Oh, yeah.
Who are you going to have fashion the weapon bits onto those spears? And she looks at him very cautiously for a moment, and then smiles. And says, "Oh, I don't think you'll like very much who I'm going to have do it." And he seems to sour for a moment at the mention of like, "Oh, I don't think you're going to like it very much." Like, oh. And why wouldn't I like who is doing it? Well, because it is Heskin. And he does actually look a little angry about it. Ah, yes. Heskin Namanus. The great brutish prick. His wife shoots him a look, and he just goes back to eating. You've now figured out that Mr. Underhill, even he has people he doesn't like.
I mean, Faye is genuinely caught off guard by that. Huh?
It's like,
Wow.
oh man, this guy loves everybody. He doesn't like that guy. Holy fuck.
Oh, okay. Well, I hope to never find out why. I like being on everybody's good side so far.
Sparrow said. Sparrow seems genuinely a bit taken aback for a moment, and gives Absol and Faye a look.
Sorrow simply shrugs at the rebuke. Anything else he may be, he is a master of the forge. And just very grumpily, Mr. Underhill nods and says, that may be true. But I have a friend who is at least as good, if not better, and he would have happily taken the commission. Hold on.
Mm-hmm.
In the midst of all this drama, Faye has largely stopped eating, except to maintain the facade that she is eating. The odd bite here and there.
I sense that there is a story to this, and perhaps you shall tell it to me one day, but let us not sour the meal. And I think Mara is actually BRB, so.
Oh, hey. Because Mario's there, okay. Hey, Robin, player to player. Is Sparrow planning on another performance, possibly to diffuse whatever tensions at this table? Just curiosity. Faye has gotten a little used to you
Sparrow
performing
said.
all the time.
He is heavily considering it.
Fair enough. 'Cause Faye has definitely gotten used to the idea of it.
Consume you. Remember that friend, let it guide you. Fulfill you.
Okay, so, and Sarah just shakes her head. He's not as good. He's very close. But not to the level of perfection that I think my men deserve. Mr. Underhill seems pretty, still angry about it. He's just like, close enough to be worth not giving money to that prick. And he just drinks. His wife elbows him, by the way.
But yeah, if
Right,
you didn't hear
understandable.
Maru, I made the comment of, I feel like there's a story behind that. Perhaps you shall share it with me at some point, but let us not sour the meal.
He just simply looks at her and says, "Not much to tell. He is not a good man." And
Sparrow
Sorrow,
said, "Is there available instrumentation in the room? I left my lute in my room."
there are no instruments in the room, but because of his many years as like a performer, he can see various things in the room he could use to like essentially a makeshift drum, like a makeshift hand drum.
If you still don't know for it, every improvised weapon is an improvised drum.
But also Rena.
Yes.
Just with your perception, because you're looking towards that end of the table anyway,
Mm-hmm.
Sorrow kind of gives you a look that says, "I'll explain later."
Understood. She'll just kind of give a nod, like, understood.
Yeah. Like Sorrow speaks a lot with her eyes. If you, well, you guys would have noticed this a little bit. That it's not always the words she's saying. It's
The way she looks, how she says it, etc., etc.
yeah. Like she relies a lot on people that she's working with to just pick up on some of the cues that she's giving.
And like,
Like,
we've been with her for like a week, and then Absolution's just really good at picking up on those kind of cues anyway.
yeah, and also she's not like trying to mislead you guys with the cues she gives, so it's not like
Yeah.
you have any reason to go, okay, she's giving this cue, but that doesn't mean no. It's like, okay, she's giving me this cue, I can trust what the cue is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is why whenever she decides to lie, it's really easy to get away with.
Right?
Um,
Sparrow said, "Mistress Sorrow, esteemed and honored company, would you mind if I did what it is my kind do best to lighten spirits in this fair dining hall?"
Sorrow just says, "Absolutely, please do."
I don't think I'll ever say no to one of your songs.
It almost doesn't feel the same when you choose not to. By all means.
Sparrow said, "To my feet and over to that makeshift drum, cracking my fingers, and I begin to play a jovial tune, something to bob your head to and sing along in glee."
You'll catch
So
Absolution's like foot tapping.
give me like a performance check real quick.
High tempo but not super energetic. "22.
Okay, so you managed, by luck, to pick one of Miss Underhill's favorites. And seeing his wife happy and jovial because her favorite song is being played, his temper rapidly de-escalates. Because it turns out his wife's joy is more important than him hating this guy.
Yo, Faye has taken the moment because she's gotten kind of used to Sparrow's performances. To take the distraction to eat more than she has been, while she thinks people aren't looking.
That's great because people aren't looking.
Yeah. Yeah, she no longer needs to save face and can eat because she is hungry.
My apologies. My grandma wanted to talk to me about things, even though I told her that, I was in the middle of something, so.
That's what it is.
Did
get
she
it.
at least knock this time?
I walked out to get a glass of milk really quickly,
Ah, gotcha.
but she decided that even though I'm doing something,
But if you're
and
doing
just trying to
something,
make
why
a
are
quick
you
charge.
here?
Yeah, probably because I have a wireless headset and I can talk and walk and get a glass of milk at the same time.
Sparrow
Crazy to think
said,
about.
"We'll do a bit of flair with prestidigitation as well. Sparks and shimmers of light with the performance."
Miss Underhill seems delighted.
Faye is also joining in the prestidigitation using subtle spell to help make it make it more look more like Sparrow's doing it. But she's helping with the fireworks and shit. Like double and triple check, you can in 2014 use Numeric magics with cantrips.
You just cost 1 if it's like the spell's level.
Yeah. Subtle spell does not care. It is one sorcerer point. Period.
Yeah.
We can burn them all here. It's fine.
I'm not gonna have to kill anything until my next long rest anyway.
Yep.
I hope.
You know what? I'll be fine after a short rest, Mario.
You haven't attuned to the vial yet.
Yeah, but I can use the short rest to attune to the vial. It'll count.
How was the short rest? An hour. How long does it take to attune to a vial? An hour.
Attunement specifically takes the short rest. I can't heal during it.
Yeah, I understand. Like, I'm just teasing.
Yeah. I refreshed myself on these rules because I was also like, I'm pretty sure I remember this right.
But yeah, so the rest of dinner goes. The next couple of courses go pretty well, and then halfway through the third course coming in, the door opens. Sir Stefan Stavro, in armor, in his tabard, comes in, takes his usual seat, and like 4 or 5 other of the guards come in and take seats. Mouser
Already in a
is
good
there.
mood. Oh, good. Already in a good mood. Faith visibly perks when she sees the Stavros and everyone else.
Absolution will give Mouser a little nod.
But she will return.
And offer a seat next to her if it is available.
We will have magically made it so it was always available. Don't worry.
Yeah, it's available.
Okay.
And then, following after all of them, you see another familiar face.
Oh boy.
Creed?
Creed!
Outfitted in armor and a tabard with Sorrow's sigil on it, and looking visibly a little stunned.
I see you may have found a new employer.
Faye leaps out of her seat to give Creed a hug. Just like, oh, good, I'm so glad you're okay and safe.
He kind of like is taken aback for a second, but then he returns the hug. He's like, "Thank you, Miss." I can't remember Phelan's last name.
Ileana.
Okay, thank you, Miss Ileana. As he returns the hug, and he returns it like with like actual like pressure, like it's not like a half-hearted. No. He fully returns the hug.
Yeah.
But not too far behind him steps in the taller, bulkier version of him that is Honor.
Honor! Pleasure to see you again as well.
And he just gives a full bow, and he reaches his hand back, and there is a very lovely woman with blue eyes that takes his hand and then walks into the room.
Oh shit, I've left my research papers in my room. Alas.
She actually immediately looks at Phelan, then looks at Honor and says, "You do not lie. She is very pretty."
Let's see, so how long has it been since the start of the campaign, in game?
About a month.
So Absolution's hair probably would have grown an inch-ish.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, Honor's like, "Yeah, she's extraordinarily pretty. I've told her so on multiple occasions. Have I not?" And he's looking at Phelan.
Her eyes are busier. She would have her head in her hand. But yes, he has. Multiple times. Quite clearly.
That's my husband for you, always telling people when they are lovely to look upon.
My apologies.
He shrugs. "Don't worry, I like looking too." And she gives a wicked grin.
Whew.
Is it getting hot in here, or is it just Phelan?
Faye will take any opportunity she can to retreat back to her seat so that she doesn't have to deal with this standing anymore.
Honor throws an arm around his brother as he leads the way for the three of them to all sit down. And as the songs continue to play, Sir Stefan gets brought his first peach cobbler. And then
internally, just it's finally happening.
Just isn't a meal without Sir Stefan getting his peach cobblers.
It is a valid thing you can detect thoughts on, but otherwise, completely internal.
But you guys notice as well that Creed is just kind of...
Sparrow said, and so it begins.
Indeed. Creed appears to just be entirely shell-shocked and not understand, he's just lost. Kind of pushing food around, eating some of it, but mostly just... He looks lost. Very, very lost. Meanwhile, his brother Honor is occasionally hitting him on the back, giving him a pat and some encouragement or whatever. In a very congratulatory manner, though you're not sure about for what.
During an instrumental break with no vocals, whoops.
So, Honor, I didn't have the chance to ask you how your interaction with your cousin on the way this way went.
I'm waiting
I'll
for.
send him a message, asking, everything all right, young Creed.
He looks like shocked, surprised, like, huh? And then looks back and he realizes what happened. He just, yeah, it's fine. Yeah, that's it. That's what you get back. Just like a little nod as he just shock of some kind.
I look
But other than
to
occasionally
Skyler.
patting his brother on the back, Honor seems way more preoccupied with the one plate that sits between him and his wife.
Yeah.
And they are, like, occasionally they're feeding each other things off of it, like, very delicately, very much like he is the entire world in front of him.
Adorable.
I looks to Sparrow like she wants to say something. Like she's implying, like, shoot me a message. I don't want to say this out loud.
Are you texting at the dinner table?
Yes.
Ostensibly. Yeah.
I feel like Sparrow's going to learn when Faye's like, "Hey, I have message me. I
Sparrow
need."
said, something on your asterisk mind. Faye,
Please, so that nobody else might hear it, tell him he should rest, relax, and eat now, and it will make sense later.
I might not, but that's just the point.
and also, my apologies for doing this to you.
Hi, Tails.
I will indeed relay the message and indicate who it is from before picking up the song again.
Creed looks suitably less shocked and surprised this time. But he responds back with, yeah, I should tell her thank you. And he eats just a little bit more, just...
Say like watching you eyes.
Well, Creed, if you have no other plans after dinner, would you perhaps be in the mood for a spar? Try to have something familiar.
Yeah, we have a training session after.
Ah,
Anyway.
I might have to join.
And that's the one time he's looked excited and like he knows what's going on. Is when he's talking about, we're going to have a training session after, and he's excited about that.
It's like,
should know,
change
last-
topic to think that he might actually be interested in.
Yeah. You should know, last time we were here, she was the star of the session. Well, Sorrowverse was the star of the show. She made a very good guest appearance.
Yeah, couldn't take him on though.
And I was also there enjoying myself.
Well, none can they? And he's looking with absolute, like, fanboy at Sir Stefan Stavro, who is scarfing down his fourth cobbler.
It's almost dinner time, boys. We've almost done it.
And Stavro looks back at him and says, "Not undefeatable. It's very difficult.
I did take
I've
out
learned
this
a lot
one, though.
about swordcraft."
Just gently nudging Mouser. It's like, I did take out this one, though.
Mouser, side-eye. She's a tricksy one.
Creed probably would have seen that, actually.
Huh?
Creed would have actually seen that firsthand against the,
Yes.
Yeah.
Creed confirms. Yes, definitely a tricksy one. This group of absolute degenerates.
Yes.
Huh?
Who? Us?
Yes. That is indeed who I'm talking about. Anyway, dinner kind of just returns to smoothness, and then Sorrow looks over at Sir Stefan. So, it went well? And Stefan just nods. Mm-hmm. Yeah. He is finishing his 5th cobbler as this happens.
We've had dinner, everybody. Let's go.
And so,
Kaylin smiles like out the corner of her mouth when she counts the number of trays.
God damn it. Anyway,
Just enough so you know that she knows.
Mr. Underhill gives her a wiggle of his eyebrows on the 5th.
Yeah.
The High Priest of Cord blessed the ceremony. He did well. Stayed calm throughout. And had already earned his position anyway. This gets some interest from anybody in here that would like to make a history check for me.
Yeah, fuck it.
Yeah, why not?
I sniped the DM by taking history.
21.
I have to go pull up my sheet. Holy, +3 on history. 14.
14?
14, 1-4.
Roman, are you electing to make the history check or no? Oh, actually, I don't think you'd actually be able to know this. Anyway. Yeah, you know what? I don't think because of what Sparrow has been through, they'd be able to know.
Another check stolen by the Fae.
Sparrow said, Sparrow, do you want to make a history? No lol.
Okay, I thought so.
Another check stolen by the Fae.
Indeed.
Unless I could have learned it in the past 8 months. Nope.
Not likely. But a 14 is actually good enough, which means the 21 is good enough. You recognize that they're talking about, though not talking about it directly, but just based on events and some more context clues, they're talking about a knighting ceremony.
Uh-huh.
So it became a knight after all.
Do you say this out loud, or is that a thought?
That's a thought.
Okay.
Alright. Well then Fae will not respond.
And at Cord, at the whole thing with Cord being mentioned, Honor's left hand comes out and boom, boom, boom onto his brother's back again. Into that armor.
Yeah, alright, cool. That's all the confirmation she needs.
And at this point, he's eaten enough and drank enough to just say, yes, my brother who would make the finest knights I've ever known. And Creed goes to protest. It's like, but you've met Sir Stefan Savro many times. And he just keeps listing other great knights that have existed during Honor's time that he knows his brother knew. And Honor just simply looks at Creed and says, you have the potential to be better than all of them.
Not to mention they had to
And he says
start
it with,
somewhere.
He says it with beaming pride, by the way.
Yeah.
I will also add in the comment of, they had to start somewhere.
And Sir Stefan nods. I was once 7. I lost every fight I got into. Then I turned 8. And he says this with a big, like, just fuck off smile. Like he's obviously joking
Is he?
as he tosses down his sixth speech cobbler.
You're not really sure if he's fully joking.
Insight, is it? Nah, I'm teasing.
Well, it stands to reason that during the course of training as a knight, you'd be going up against boys that are a few years older than you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And from the ages of 8 to 16, every year means a fuck ton.
Yeah.
Let's say some wisdom, so I'm bad at it. Alright, great.
I think this is just a really easy, like, logic
No,
check.
yeah,
Of just,
obviously. No, yeah, like, obviously. Like I said, I'm just teasing anyway, but it made me stop and look.
yeah, and then I turned 8.
Things did not go so quickly in my family.
I doubt they would. But Sir Stefan even takes enough time to stop tossing down the seventh cobbler to look Krieg directly in the eyes and say, I've not met anyone with your potential. You'll do great. If you train. And Krieg just nods like, yeah, okay. Like, it's almost like he's taking notes, like, mentally. Like, oh, training, yes, do that. As if, he didn't already know that. As if Sir Stefan said something so profound that he'd never heard before. Like, no, we know that you've heard people tell you to train and that you need to do that forever. So, I don't know why you're acting like you're only just now receiving this information because your hero is delivering it to you, but...
Yeah, somewhere around this point is when Faye stops eating, like she's genuinely full.
You're convinced that Mr. Underhill and Mrs. Underhill have eaten their body weight?
And then
That's
some.
fine.
Yeah. Exactly. So... uh... brain. Okay, so dinner kind of continues through normally, and when everybody's done eating, and Sir Stefan has had his 15th cobbler,
Hey!
Sparrow said, "Be right back, keep going bio break."
okay, got you. Actually, I think I want to wait for them to get back, because I want to do
Okay.
something really quickly.
Okay.
So everybody,
I will bio
take,
as well.
yeah,
I
everybody
will
take
do the
5.
same. See you on 5, everybody.
Are you gonna not be a menace, Tails?
Tails, not be a menace. Yeah, right. That means nothing.
Charging zoomies.
Exactly. Zoomy is recharging. Zoomy's ready in 5, 4, 3, 2. Zoomies activate. Oh.
Sparrow said. Back red heart.
Yeah, we decided to all take a little bit of a break because, Kazu and Rita both also needed to run to the bathroom real quick. So it's just you and me right now. But I also decided I was going to do a thing. Yeah, I had something I wanted to get up and do too real quick, so.
Like, excuse me, as my model even wakes up. Hey, what do you know? Ad break. Halfway decent timing.
Hey, I'm here. Hello, it's me. Your friend and mine, Kaz.
But you're not friends with Kaz, I am.
And mine.
No, I was making a joke because we know somebody else that goes by Kaz.
I know of at least 3 doppelgangers.
Yeah, he plays Dark Knight in 14.
Mm-hmm.
And Savage.
Nice.
He's even pretty good.
I don't know. You know,
Unlike
get the
me.
few savages.
We're ignoring what Rena just said. It is unworthy of acknowledgement.
Nope, I'm
Other than
not.
to acknowledge that we're ignoring it.
Okay, ad break is over. I think we have everyone back as well.
I was going to do too. Roman, you're still back?
I have chips
Sparrow
enriched
said. Indeed.
Oh, we're still back. So dinner concludes with the 15th cobbler being eaten. And it's time for a training session out in the yard.
Hey, there he goes.
And a whole slew of guards are already out there waiting. Mr. and Mrs. Underhill both also came out to watch the spectacle. And Sorrow, who is also there, says, well, it wouldn't do to have it be anything other than my oldest knight, in terms of length of service, not age, mind you, and my newest. To face off first, yeah? Wicked grin. And Creed, who looks nervous all of the time, especially when dealing with anything to do with anything, looks entirely calm. Him and Sir Stefan both don helms. They give each other a salute. And on goes the blade work. you're really getting to see what happens when an unstoppable force meets an immovable object. Creed launching himself towards the older man with a reckless abandon where you'd almost forget that Sir Stefan was the young man's hero. Attacking and attacking and attacking, driving him back. Sir Stefan reached the edge of the arena, which is marked in lines within the sand, and stops and defends himself there from high cut, low cut, high cut, mid cut, coming from either side of his body. Creed's attacks coming smoothly one after another, but Sir Stefan's sword a metal cage around his body. He manages to break off the edge, where he can keep walking the circle around. But attacks are getting through. First on a shoulder, then an elbow, a knee, bouncing off of the plate. Creed is getting as good as he's giving, however, with Sir Stefan's strikes coming and ringing off of a helm, an elbow, and a knee. But for every one that Sir Stefan can land, Creed is landing 2. His blade an absolute flash. It actually looks like he's about to win for a brief instant when Sir Stefan charged him, grappled him, took him to the ground, pinned his arms to his side, lifted his visor, and pulled the dagger off of his belt, pointing it at the young man's eye. And pronouncing one word. Dead. There's cheering from all of the guards for the well done fight, but the loudest person cheering is Mr. Underhill.
Of course.
Who is singing Creed's praises for standing up to and giving a good test for the most respected knight in the realm. Honor is the second loudest, cheering for his brother.
Yeah, Faye's out there. She's
Sparrow said, "The lad's going to be a hero I sing about one of these days."
That's true.
oh,
And in a
I
way,
look
we're the
forward to
ones
that.
that helped break his shackles.
I look forward to that day. Really, truly.
It did pain me to see someone shackled so.
Yeah, because nobody in this party would know what that's like directly.
Totally, not at all.
It's not like it's a major theme for 2 of the characters or anything.
You know, the characters are like, oh, thank God his shackles are off, and all Faye has to say was, thank God he's safe.
When he walks off the field and Creed takes off his helm, the expression on his face is a mix of elation at having got to fight his hero and done so well, and disappointment at the fact that he lost.
Sounds about right.
Yeah.
You can tell the young man's not used to losing.
You can learn more from losses than from wins.
Do you say that or do you think that?
I would say it aloud more, like, not directly to him, but...
Mm-hmm.
As a general statement.
Oh. Faye keeps her thought to herself, although she does quite visibly have a thought.
Sparrow said, agreed. Better to think on what you did wrong and find ways to handle it going forward, eh?
That's not food, boy.
Young lad nods.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He looks at Sir Stefan, who's kind of coming off with him, and says, "That was a bit of a cheap trick, eh? At the end?" And Sir Stefan looks at him and just laughs and says, "It's part of the fight." But it was a sword fight. Was it? And he almost looks taken aback. It's like, well, yeah, we had swords. Sir Stefan puts a hand on his shoulder and says, "If the only weapon you think to use is the one in your hand, you're not going to get anywhere." And he taps the middle of his head with one finger and says, "You have to use this as a weapon." And taps into his chest and says, "And this." Your body is as much as a weapon as the sword you're holding. And this is actually a revelation for him. He actually looks dumbfounded, like, how did I never think of that before?
Honestly,
well,
with this phrase, Absolution will be looking at her own body, but like it's almost as if she's looking through her own skin.
Mhm.
Down to the scars underneath.
Yes, just think what happens if you get in an actual fight where your life matters and suddenly you find yourself swordless. Or, heaven forbid, the other party pulls a knife.
why would I ever find myself swordless?
Do you think you'll only ever be attacked when you're ready? Do you think they'll never disarm you?
Well, you always have to be ready for a fight.
Even while you're sleeping?
That takes him aback, and then he's like,
Mhm.
he elects to ignore that question to then answer the, "And how can you be disarmed if the sword is part of your arm?"
But yes, there are
Faye
a
takes this
few times.
opportunity. No, Faye
Yep.
takes this opportunity to grab his sword and his Pesty heat. Can't remember if Pesty can raise the heat of a thing. She doesn't have heat metal, and she wouldn't cast it here anyway. But she wants to remind him that there are ways you can make a person drop a sword. Double checking prestidigitation real quick. Mm,
There are also times
uh,
where one may not be allowed to be armed with a sword. There are times where you may be caught unaware, such as when you're sleeping, when you're taking meals.
chill, warm, or flavor up to 1 cubic foot of non-living material. Great. I just raise gently the heat at the base of his sword because I assume he's still holding his sword.
Yeah.
Yeah, just like just enough so he can definitely tell, but it's not the smell of heat metal. I
Yeah.
was like, you can be made to drop your weapon even if you're not ready to. Be ready to fight back when you do.
And Sir Stefan's just looking at you guys giving this advice and is just nodding along, like, yep.
Not to mention, there are plenty of enemies that do not hold the honor to face you straight ahead.
He He looks like he's having to reevaluate his whole life.
Sure, the man has fought before,
It's
but
like-
he's never been in a fight.
And he has a
Sparrow said, and many men have lost their arms. Creed. Men lose their heads every day. You must be ready, lad. You will be.
And at this, Honor comes over, wraps an arm around his brother, and says, "Now listen to these fine folk. They seem to have all been in enough scraps to understand that sometimes things don't go the way it's drawn up in the yard. Sometimes you have to fight with things that aren't the sword."
Yes, I think I remember one of Stefan's friends being quite unarmed.
So Stefan laughs, like big bark of laughter. "You mean Store?
Yes, that's the
That
one.
overgrown horse merchant?"
Yes, that one. I believe you can attest to his disarmed nature.
Yeah, and Sir Stefan's just like, "Yeah, and minus an arm is still a better knight than most of them walking."
Yes, he was ready to fight with the other hand. So, take these lessons to heart. You'll do better than you could possibly imagine.
And Creed just really got that look of, I need to reevaluate all of the assumptions I've ever made about fighting in my entire life. Like, he's just got
Yeah.
that expression on his face, like, oh.
Yeah,
You
and you
should-
have to keep in mind is that for Absolution, like almost no fights in her life have been straightforward.
Yeah. To that end, Faye does like walks the slugging and usually spar with her when playing Gasolution. She'll teach you how to fight.
Survivor.
What about a fair fight? One-on-one. And this is where Sir Stefan puts a hand on his shoulder and just says, "Creed, with your ability, no fight that you have one-on-one is going to be fair."
Also,
Yeah.
fairness is only for tournament play. Out in the real world, it's do what you must to survive.
His own brother chimes in with the, "If you find yourself in a fair fight, you've fucked up."
That too.
Yeah. Should we? I mean, we talk a good game, but should we
Sparrow
be?
said, any enemy that you should fear will recognize whether or not they can take you head on. And if they recognize they cannot, and they still fight, well.
Friends, we've talked a really good game, but shouldn't we show? And she points to whoever's sparring right now, just in the general direction.
It's Mouser and one of the other guards. It's Andreas,
Oh.
actually. Mouser and Andreas are having a good fight.
Sick. If he's offering to take the next spot.
No, Sir Stefan's actually just leans into the two casters and says, "Can either of you, make the ground wet under one of their feet?"
Is the original prestidigitation. The answer is almost yes. 10 feet? How deep in this arena are they?
They're coming towards your side.
Oh, sick. Yeah, I use prestidigitation to toil the ground under one of their feet.
Do it right. And he's just waiting for them to get into a particular position where one of them is about to be stepping forward and one of them is going to be stepping back under one of their feet, and it's right now. do you choose the person that's taking the step back or the person that's taking the step forward?
Whoever's stepping back gets the slip, sorry.
So Mouser hits the wet ground, his foot slides. You can see the slight shock, but immediately his sword moves up to an angle as he's using the fall Andreas gets actually really surprised by his opponent falling, and Mouser manages to use the sword as like an anchoring point to pull Andreas back down, ripping his sword down. So the sword gets knocked out of his hand, and he ends up grabbing Andreas by the back of the knee, yanking, so he falls on his back, and then pointing the sword at his head.
Ah, there's a good lesson for you. Be good enough to take advantage of whatever mistakes are made. Even when the mistakes are yours.
Mouser moves the sword to the other hand, helps up Andreas, helps him recover his sword, and then goes, "It hasn't rained here in weeks. Why was there a wet patch? What the hell?"
Before they can find out, she prestidigitates it dry again.
Okay, now they're both really confused. And then they look at each other, and then they just look at Sorrow, actually. And she just smiles and says, "This time, not me, boys."
Faye is obviously hiding it.
Like, nope, wasn't me, wasn't me, wasn't me, wasn't me, wasn't me.
But,
They're just shaking their heads like, okay, well, that was a thing. See, Mouser didn't expect to fall. But when he realized he was falling, and that he could use it to his advantage, he did.
Mauser knows how to fight. He does not know just how to battle. He knows how to fight.
you must use every resource at your disposal. That is how I was raised.
Sparrow said, I imagine Faye whistling with her arms behind her back, looking off
yes.
into nowhere after that.
Yeah, absolutely. It's just like the most obvious, like, I did it, that I'm not trying to get immediately in trouble.
The two of them are both looking at her like... Then they look at Sir Stafford and go, ah.
Well, the fight's over. She pulls out her gloves so she can put them on. Somebody should join me.
Join you for what? Like a spar?
Yeah.
Do you want it to be one of the other players, or do you want it to be one of the NPCs?
I'm God. Faye's hoping that Absolution takes her up, but if she doesn't,
no, I will.
Yeah, because she doesn't care about the spar. She wants to show Creed what the importance of being tricky, even in a fair fight. And Faye is totally straight with Absolution on the way. It's like, look, we talked about how important it is to be ready to do anything. You need to be able to show Creed. It's not enough to just say it. A demonstration will leave a much harsher impact than just the thought of it.
So let's coordinate this out a little bit. I'm not going to have you guys roll or anything. I'm going to have you guys kind of determine how you guys want this to go.
Yeah.
Because I'm imagining some use of resources like prestidigitation, like to put sparks in somebody's face from Faye and those sorts of things.
Absolution literally
Faye is
grabbing
trained
dirt
to
from the
use
ground
weapons.
and pushing it into the opponent's face.
Faye's trained to use weapons, so she is going to grab a weapon, even though we did not see her with one earlier. For the express intent of, like, throwing the weapon at the opponent to cast, like, Firebolt. Like, genuine, like, distraction techniques. And in turn, she hopes that Absolution does stuff like actually get in behind her.
Yeah. She probably would, and it would be like, and then there would be times where she'd like lean down to the ground, end up coming in as if she's coming in with an attack, but instead it's just like a handful of sand from the ground or dirt or whatever's around.
Bucket sand.
Basically, yeah. and then just slides around to the back.
Yep. And yeah, just like shit like that. Faye's keen to use her one free Misty Step a day to counter flank and pop like just she's got strength. Also, she can stand an actual punch.
And then, like, whenever she does the Misty Step, Absolution will respond by using her Levitate.
Yeah. We put together a whole fucking show, almost entirely for Creed's sake.
Actually, both of you give me a performance check.
Yeah, absolutely.
23. 18 plus 5.
Oh, damn. We got plus 4, 15.
What was your total, Rena?
23.
That's a total of 38.
Yeah.
You guys put on one hell of a show. Now, a lot of people there don't even realize that it's some kind of improvised choreography to just show dirty fighting. But kind of the key players do. So Sorrow, Sir Stefan, and Honor have all kind of figured it out. Everybody else is just cheering and having a great time watching this, like, really dirty, low-down kind of fight.
And they're also genuinely fighting. They're just purposely choosing a different trick every time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not to mention, like, there's certain tricks that she can't use in a spar that she would possibly use otherwise.
Yeah.
You can't poison your opponent in a spar.
I mean, you can.
Just
You probably shouldn't.
It's like, and like at the end, she just like points out a nick on, It's like, if that was a poisoned blade, could be dead, sleep, or who knows what.
Oh. Ah. Gosh, it's been so long since I've used everything.
Raucous,
shit.
roaring cheers from everybody.
I should have kicked dust in your face.
It's been like a month and a
Sparrow
It's been like
said,
a month and a half.
I'm
2
sure
months
you'll
since
also
I have-
learn what mischievous bastards like me can do in due time.
She gets to work using Pessy to clean up, and I don't think this character is mending. The other character I'm playing does. You know, I just often check. No, not this one. She's using Pessy to clean up.
You actually see a bet that went down where people are exchanging money.
Look, see?
After
This is a very good
Absolution's
show.
narrow win.
Yeah. Huh. Look at that. I show good enough to make bets on.
Mouser actually looks pretty happy with the fact that he has got 3 people that just handed him money. He doesn't bet against Absolution.
They wouldn't have either.
To be fair, the number of people you would bet against Absolution fighting against are like the 3 people that weren't in the ring.
Yeah.
Let's see. I would still bet for Stefan, but that's out of historical data.
Agreed.
Sparrow said, smart money is on the skinny bitch.
Yeah, exactly.
Yup.
Yeah.
That joke is infinitely funnier if you go watch Sense8 on Netflix. I'm just letting people know that that's a thing. You should go watch that. Great
It is
show.
great.
Definitely go watch it. That was the most English joke you could do. Alright. Okay. Fuck, that's a good show. Anyway,
Smart money
It's
is on the skinny bitch. you, you can forfeit the match and your money. Bullshit. Actually, that's a very small price to pay.
Freaking love it.
Save you much humiliation. What? Smart money is on the skinny bitch. Well, then it kind of continues on with the different guards training with each other. Sir Stefan Stavros giving pointers to people between kind of all kinds of various different things. And he's actually talking to people about, figure out how to fight a little dirty. Just not in a way that's going to hurt your friend.
yeah, Faye looks out for Stefan, make sure that he showed Creed everything, because it's not important that Creed saw it, it's important that Creed understood it.
Yeah.
So she looks for Stefan and be like, you, please tell me that you showed him what we were doing.
Honor's just like, oh, I did too.
It's like,
Yeah.
oh, time to bring down the ban hammer. Woo! Bye.
Bye-bye.
We like banning bots. They're fun to ban.
Anyway.
But yeah,
So she says to Stefan, is like, please tell me that you showed him everything. Because I know he saw it, but I know he didn't understand it.
and they both nod like, yeah,
Oh.
we went over it with him. We'll see how much he retained tomorrow.
Yeah.
Sure.
In an ideal world, people would have more honor, but our world is far from ideal.
Honor with a nod. Well said.
Nobody's ever ready for the spellcaster to punch them in the face.
Honor's wife looks at you and says, to Honor, while looking at you, she gets more intriguing all the time.
12 strength, 12 strength. Oh, sorry, different character. 14 strength, 14 strength.
Either way, everything goes relatively smoothly. And then eventually, Mr. Underhill and Mrs. Underhill say that they're going to be retiring for the evening. And Sorrow kind of just says, I should probably do the same. I have an early date tomorrow.
Yeah. I need to.
And then, after she has said this, she looks at the three of you and says, may I speak with the three of you? I have business I would like to speak with you with before I retire for the evening.
Of course.
They, for a half second,
Sparrow
was
said,
visibly
"Hi."
exhausted before picking up and following. Just like, okay.
Excellent, thank you. Sorry. So as you follow, she leads you into a small office room. Sorry to pull you away from the festivities. Take a seat, if you would.
They nods. They're still quite visibly exhausted from this bar. Definitely takes a seat.
It is probably the softest, most comfortable chair you've ever sat in.
It takes genuine willpower to not pass out right now.
Absolution will take a seat as well. Not visibly exhausted like Faye is.
Sorrow then takes a seat on her side of the desk, and leans forward, elbows on it, fingers interlaced, her chin resting on her hands, and says, "I would like to make you an offer of continued employment with me. You performed the task admirably, and I've received my report from Hope about how you dealt with extended circumstances, and how quickly you were able to discern what happened during a diplomatic disagreement between her and another one of our erstwhile allies.
Mhm.
Overall, I am impressed. I asked you to do this task as a way to commune a sentence. Anything I ask of you from now on will be as somebody of my employ, which confers certain benefits, and obviously, better pay than what you were just given. For tasks done for me. If you would choose to accept, the cloaks that you have would remain yours, and the sigils would remain. If not, the cloaks are still a gift. I would just have my seamstress take my sigil off of them first, and then they would be returned to you. You don't have to decide right now. I do not expect you to.
Faye looks to her companions like, okay, well, we did talk about it.
But there is much that I could gain from having such competent people in my employ. And I think there is much you could gain by working for me, in the terms of payment, supplies, travel, certain securities.
She looks specifically to Sparrow before looking straight at Sorrow, basically taking lead in the negotiations. Be like, out of curiosity, the future tasks that may come up, these would be other errands out and about across the entire land, yes?
Oh, of course. You're not a group of people that I think would do well sitting around in the capital city. I think you are much better use in the rest of the countryside.
She nods, takes a moment to think of more stray thoughts, basically. And these hypothetical future errands, we would be given the appropriate tools and guidance.
Tools, guidance, funding, whatever I think may be required.
All in all, largely a more voluntary, but largely the same arrangement as before.
Yes. You would obviously have leeway to handle tasks given to you in any way, though I would have contacts or other resources already situated in most areas that you could call upon for something or another. Sometimes they would have great information, sometimes they would just simply be able to house you for a time. But not everywhere do I have these agents, as much as that pains me, and as much as I'd like to. It happens, I can't have eyes and ears everywhere, at all times.
Mhm.
So sometimes that's what you'd be going to do. You'd be going to be my eyes and ears. Other times, there would be a specific task for you to achieve, a specific duty to maintain, prisoners to escort, other various tasks that may exist. But ultimately, you would have freedom in how you went about these tasks and how you decided to execute upon them. Upon completion, there would be payment and other rewards as necessary.
Faye looks to her compatriots to see if she can't glean at least a cursory answer from them. Even if that's like we need to talk better or talk more later.
Absolution
she's-
is like just kind of staring. It's like, I have been given a taste of safety, of family, of things I never thought possible in this world. I would be loath to give them up now.
Is it that easy to read Sparrow? She did specifically ask the thing that was Sparrow's concern, so she definitely wants to make sure that hit home.
And I am also sure that if we ever wanted to leave your employ for any reason, we would be able to.
Indeed, I would just need to have the cloaks taken back to my seamstress to remove my sigil.
Okay.
Roman is typing, so I'm going to let them do that
Yeah.
before we continue on.
Yep.
Well,
Ah, you got a twisty tie. Okay.
Faye does have one last question, provided that Sparrow gives at least a firm answer. We'll see what they are typing first.
Sparrow said. Sparrow seems a good bit more complex in his standing. It seems like he's leaning more towards staying with the group, regardless.
Faye does her best to read Sparrow's expression. Looks at Sarah and go, right, one last thing, sorry. It's a big offer, lots of questions.
He clearly holds apprehensions about the situation.
Yeah. I assume that we will be held on retainer. This isn't a contract or anything.
Yes, as long as any task I'm giving to you is completed, you are free to leave my service at any time.
Alright. I think we need just a moment this week.
Take the evening. I do not expect an answer until tomorrow evening. So take all the time you need.
Faye is the first to get up, and she bows politely before excusing herself. And she waits outside the door for her compatriots. She is also purposely waiting for Sparrow so she can pull him aside. And they can have like an actual chat about it.
Sparrow said. I give a bow and smile, and thank Sorrow again for the evening and for all she's done thus far, and tell her I'll have an answer on the morrow. Then I head out to see Faye.
She gives a nod.
Is there still sparring outside?
Yes.
Faye deliberately brings I had a My brain just blanked for a second there.
Is
Faye specifically
Absolution
brings
staying in the room?
Sparrow.
No, I'm going with them. Just
Okay.
Yeah, I can absolutely follow. But Faye specifically brings Sparrow there so they can talk where the crowd is. It's going to be really hard to overhear them over all the shouting. Oh. So I was perfectly capable of seeing that solution is found family here, as it were. I also see that you didn't have the same resolve on your face. We should definitely talk seriously about it now that it's been offered.
Sorrow, you should work for me because it would be in our mutual best interest.
Yeah. For the record, Faye has no strong feelings. She has found family in the compatriots she traveled with.
Yeah.
She does not particularly care. She has a lean towards Sorrow, but like honestly, if Sparrow's like, I genuinely don't trust it. She's like, cool, I'll go try and convince Absolution to leave.
There's something else that I would like to discuss with you.
Sparrow said, "My apprehensions do not lie in the details as things stand. It's personal. Forgive me. I very recently left the employ of one being who held a great deal of power. The circumstance airs are entirely different, yes, but there is a part of me that screams I might be committing myself to a cycle."
I understand what you mean there. There's some things that I would also like to put into consideration on a more personal side that to help your decision. But we will need it. These discussions would be best done in the privacy of one of our rooms, I do believe. Because if you are to be my traveling companions, if you are to be with me on a more permanent side, you have the right to know what kind of danger you're putting yourselves in by being with me. And it may also bring to light part of why I am seeking the refuge of one as powerful as Sorrow.
Sparrow said, I'm in agreement on that front. I've some things to share in a similar vein. Let's part from prying eyes, shall we?
Mm-hmm.
Of course. I had hoped that we wouldn't be overheard here, but if you don't wish to be seen, we can of course vacate. Find somewhere quieter.
Good night.
Mm-hmm. What I'm going to be bringing up is something that is not well known. Sorrow, I know, knows, and maybe a couple of others in her employ, as well as what I will be showing you will not be something I can just be out in the open about.
Um, where would they take you? Probably just like deeper into the actual garden area, away from the actual sparring. But before she tells you that we're okay, she is going to actively search for scrying devices.
I don't think she realizes that freaking Absolution plans to most likely strip.
No, she doesn't. Doesn't matter. She's still trying to find the quietest place possible. She doesn't want to do it in a room because she's certain that there's going to be scrying devices in there. Absolution can always be like, no, we can be even quieter.
It's like, I'm pretty sure any scry devices that are in our rooms are going to be in the more public spots even more so.
You never know. It may not be worth it. Might be reliant on guards who are currently too busy watching a sparring competition. I'm sure a tournament's broken out by now. So, it's entirely possible that the eyes and ears in the outdoor areas are the public guards who are currently busy. Look, Faye's pretty smart.
Fair, fair.
Not the wisest, but she's pretty smart.
But, like, I'm gonna wait for whatever Faye's reaction whenever she just starts stripping down into, like, small clothes.
I mean, the first time she blushed profusely, but didn't look too far away. That was not the whole thing, though. That was just the shirt, yeah?
Yeah, it was just the back.
Yeah. I mean, this time she's gonna turn beet red, but otherwise...
Because she's going to strip basically as she's going into her base form.
Gotcha. She doesn't know this, so she's still,
Yeah.
She's still going with the reasoning that the eyes and ears of a public space won't necessarily be like scrying devices or anything. She does actively look, because I think some scrying spells have, like, you know, you can actually look, or you can make an arcana or something. I don't know.
I mean, I have detect magic that I can use at will, but in this place, she probably doesn't even, like, try anymore, because there's probably so much magical shit. Granted, you can ignore magic you're aware of already, but still.
Yeah. I'm going to keep seeing invisible objects for these. Alright, that's fine.
Okay.
Faye's good, but she can't see invisible things. So.
Yeah. Like, honestly, Absolution was feeling really guilty about even going on this first task without letting them know how much danger they could possibly be in.
I don't think we're in any danger currently. Can't be that bad.
Can it?
Sparrow said, "Where are we headed again? I haven't had much time to explore."
I think Faye had decided that the gardens were.
That was an in-character question.
My
Um,
bad.
the quietest spot I can think of that might not have any scrying spells there. Probably somewhere deep in the garden, I hope. Sparrow strikes me as the type to have eyes and ears and not scrying spells for everything. But I don't trust the rooms all the same.
Let me see if I can't download. Get. Oh, that is actually quite tiny. Okay. I guess that's what I get for not doing the quality one.
That's okay, I get the picture. No pun intended.
I also get the picture. Full pun intended.
Always intend the puns. Here's a bigger one.
You guys are going into the gardens.
Deep into the gardens as they possibly can.
Yeah.
Okay. As you go into the gardens, please roll for me a perception check.
It's 18 on the die. What is it
Yo,
again?
dice roller, you're not gonna believe it. Yeah, he said to roll another check. That's crazy. I've been rolling pretty good. Not great, but pretty good all
It's
night.
gonna be a
That's not
26
true. I
for
just had really good
this
bonuses on my bad
hyper
rolls.
observant bitch.
Uh,
Sparrow said, 13.
Get off the keyboard.
16.
13, 16, and what?
26.
Damn.
So the 26, you get to know a thing. Can you pull us down into Lay War Room, I guess?
Yeah.
Just really quickly?
Work.
Hello.
There we go.
So, as you're going through the garden, you notice deep within the like twisting passageways of the garden with all the flowers,
Mm-hmm.
you notice a small hut in the middle of a stand of trees within the garden. Far enough off the path to be sort of difficult to notice, but you've noticed it.
Okay, yeah.
All right.
Okay.
What you do with this information is up to you.
Okay. So, Absolution will kind of go off the original path and be like, I see something over this way.
All faith, absolutely. Absolution has a much keener eye, and she Faye is very much faith in her friend. After all, the party that slays together stays together.
Bout chicka bout wow?
Yeah,
Of course.
Sparrow said. Vague. Let's see, then.
As you are led off the main garden path by Absolution, you guys see what she most likely was looking at before. And you're looking at a hut within a stand of trees within the garden.
do you think this is a guard post or a private getaway?
Are you asking that as a character, or are you
Yes.
just thinking? Is that thinking?
That is Faye asking Absolution specifically, but
I'm not sure, but thought it might be good not to just to check it out before we discuss anything private in the area.
absolutely. Faye is the only thing that she thinks is proper in this situation. She goes to what might qualify as a front door and knock. Even if there's not a door, if it's an open doorway, she still knocks.
There is a door, and there's light coming from inside.
She knocks politely then.
You hear from the other side of the door, "Who's that?"
Do I recognize this voice or no?
No.
No, big no. Ooh, fantastic. Faye stands up like firmly at the door, like a door-to-door salesman, and just says, "Oh, my apologies. I thought this might be an empty spot. We're just trying to find some privacy. My bad. Sorry.
There's a light coming through the window, girl.
Lights don't always mean occupation."
Lights typically mean occupation unless the building's burning itself to death.
As control flames go through walls. That you can see bastard and watching their balance.
Why will it not let me
Uh,
move anything around.
Well, if you're gonna be here at my domicile, you might as well come in.
almost. I thought this might be a private getaway, but all the same. She waits like a half second to see if the other person opens the door before she helps herself.
He already opened the door. So,
I already opened the door.
yeah.
Sick. She just steps in, again, profusely apologizing.
If you're going to apologize for intrusion, you should have not came. Been easier that way.
My curiosity truly did get the best of me.
They say curiosity has a habit of killing cats.
She double checks before, like, saying, like, no, I'm pretty sure I've had a cat.
That was me being stunned by that comment, not him. Just to be entirely clear as to
I do.
This
Pardon the intrusion, but we were unaware that there was anyone out in the gardens.
you would be unaware of that, would you?
me, the player, stunned and lost for any kind of useful words. Ah.
Azu, you useless homosexual!
Yeah. Yep.
As you come in and, like, by the firelight, he's examining all of you and says, "You're an odd bit of company."
I feel like we'd probably get that a bit.
Sparrow said, "We're an odd sort of troop, my goodman."
Save your hollow niceties for ones who appreciate them.
Who? I don't think you've given us a description of this man.
Not yet, no.
They is looking. She's
He
trying to.
has long white hair and a pair of blue eyes you've seen once before. The same kind of blue as Sir Stefan Stavros.
Oh. My apologies. You're you remind me already so much of a friend of ours. Uh, I'm sure you're aware you're living on her grounds. Sarah's head guard, Stefan Stavros.
Yes, my nephew, what of him?
That makes so much more sense.
My brother named his son for me.
Well, it is nice to meet you, Mr. Stefan.
Save your hollow niceties for those who appreciate them, girl. This isn't an insult. It's advice. I no longer appreciate such things.
I don't think she knows
This
how
is
to
no
turn it
fault of
off.
yours. Then learn, girl.
It's the 19 charisma, bro. Oh.
Ugh. Oh, I do think we've have intruded on you far too long, so we should probably get
You've
on.
only just arrived.
Yeah,
If you're going to intrude on my solitude, you might as well stay for some tea, yes?
His eyes light up at the mention of tea.
I do enjoy a good tea.
It would be impolite to leave without it.
It
So I must
certainly was.
insist.
Of course.
Very well.
Sparrow said, I'm not the sort to turn down a good Cooper.
You tried so hard. TTS butt.
Come here, you little turd. Let's get you out from in front of my camera, okay?
He he pulls out a full
Hold on, I'm gonna test this. Cuppa.
Hey!
There we go.
he pulls out some extra bits of tea mugs and sets them out for all of you.
Oh,
Is delighted in a truly elvish way.
thank you for the first
And then
scorpion,
pours tea
and apparently
for
my
each of
sound
you.
alerts are not coming through my
And hands you a cup.
thing. So I don't know if you heard
Take
it
the
on
cup.
your end, but I did not hear it on
Take the
mine.
smell in, clear the mind of all biases, and just drink the tea. It is an entire ceremony for her.
It's good tea, by the way.
Whole body relax. This-
Weird. I heard that one go through. Oh, whatever.
and then she dies of poison.
What brings you this deep into Sorrow's Gardens this time of evening?
Oh,
You would believe it. We were actually trying to have a conversation away from sorrow.
He barks with laughter. You
I
also recognize
I
it's the
gave up on
exact same kind of laugh.
I gave up on trying to explain the fact that there's probably nowhere even in the city that we could be outside of Sorrow's eyes.
If you are within the kingdom, you are within Sorrow's sight.
Be that as it may, sometimes where it takes longer to travel than others.
He doesn't always have to depend on word traveling to her, girl.
It is, in fact, a big night for us. So, we were hoping to talk dirty details, as it were.
Always good to make sure you talk of details.
Yes. Well, she looks to her compatriots like, hey, I'm about to start splatting. Like, that face. You know the face. Like, stop me now, face.
If you don't want me to talk about this, you should stop me this minute.
Ugh.
Everybody knows this face. This the please stop me. I want to be stopped.
Faye, we do have important things to discuss. We should
That's
finish
not
our
puppy
tea
dog.
and be on our way. We can discuss the verbal tea later. We enjoy the herbal tea now. The verbal tea can wait.
Sparrow said, "We've been afforded an opportunity, and we had a mind to break away from the more easily escaped prying eyes to discuss with each other some important information. Information that a very well determine what path we take and that. Well, that led us to your doorstep. And now we're all sharing a cup, eh?"
ETS, but you have betrayed us again. Sorry, it's really funny to me.
It's just very funny in general. Yeah, he just simply nods. You always have to look out for your own best interest. Nobody else will really do that for you.
Ain't that the truth?
Your face is like a little hurt by that. Not like terribly visibly, but like she's going
Don't
out
worry.
of her way to.
She's just a child.
She
She'll
does
learn one
that
day.
thing.
Give me a history check.
Yeah, I'll hit you with a history check. Sure, why not?
Just Faye, or
What on what?
did I not come up? Did he mute
ooh.
me?
Mm-mm.
Yes, he muted me.
Well, maybe.
Yeah, the
Don't
cat
check
muted
him.
me again.
Hooray.
But to just Faye or everyone.
For everyone. Well, anyone that intends to do a history check, so.
Oh, I'm plus 3 on history. That's nice of me. 12. Not my best
19.
roll.
Well, because this man is just famous enough, you know that when he says, nobody will look out for the best of you, not even family, his nephew killed his 2 sons.
Oh.
Yeah. Right.
Notably, that, one of you remembers and not the other. No points for guessing who gets to remember this. His 2 sons sought out the nephew on the field of battle to kill him. And he kind of just simply defended himself, but,
I mean,
emotions a rational mind does not make.
yeah.
Yep.
I think it better not to pry.
Okay. Nods and definitely bites her tongue. Well. She takes a deep breath. It's the very last, alright, well. Gotta talk now.
I will say this, isolation will take its toll on you, so I do hope that our company did take away from that sting a bit. We should be on our way, though. It was a good cup of tea.
Thoroughly stopped.
You can come by anytime you want a cup of tea or a history lesson.
Right.
So, I think it might be best in this case to just retire to one of our rooms.
Yes, I agree.
You say that when you're out of earshot, or do you say that as you're leaving?
As we're leaving, probably.
You just hear him laughing.
Oh, alright. Faye is more than happy to go to one of the rooms at this point because she tried.
So hard.
She knew that something might happen, but it seems like the best bet to do something quickly at least.
Ugh.
You tried so hard and got so far, but in the end, it didn't matter.
Yeah, look, smart.
But yeah,
Not wise.
whenever we get to one of the rooms and Absolution is very sure no one just like followed them. Just straight up.
Mm-hmm.
She would take in a deep breath and be like, "You may wish to sit down for this."
Faye's known to heed warnings. She takes a seat.
And as she is giving, if she will give the proper time to like everyone to settle how they would like to. And as she is giving her explanation, she is basically stripping and going into her base form at the same time.
The only thing that stops her from being is that you are actively changing, so she knows it's not a sex thing.
Yeah. And so she is revealed as a tiefling with purple skin, a large lightning scar across the front of her chest, and other marks all over the rest of her body except for her face. She has red eyes and striking white hair. And I do have an image pulled up on the stream, and I will be showing the back as well. The tattoo is not quite accurate on this, but it's the closest I could get in Hero Forge. The actual tattoo has been described before, as far as I know, but it is a spider web with a spider with a heart on its. I forget what the part's called. The very back, thick booty part.
The thorax.
Thorax. And then belladonna woven throughout the web. My given name at birth was Belladonna. And I need to get my last name again. Carolyn Anon. Purifying flower in the Elvish language, for just reference. My family is a family of assassins. I was literally born, bred, and raised to take people's lives. This tattoo is a brand. Not only was I born to do this, I was created to. My mother did a ritual that turned me into a changeling. It's what allows me to change forms. She was trying to create one of the greatest assassins possible. And I just kind of ran away from it. So there is a high chance that they will be coming to get their asset back because they cannot simply just make another one. I was the first success. And as far as I know, the only success thus far.
It like takes a minute to just parse all that information. Because it was, I mean, that was a whole lot slower dump.
Yeah.
It's gonna take her a minute.
Yeah. But like she felt like it was bad to just continue going out because the longer that she waited, the more likely it was that somebody from her family was going to find her.
I, hmm, I understand why you thought it was important to share the whole story with us. I don't, hmm, I don't think it changes my opinion of you at large, and I do appreciate the warning. Yeah.
But yeah, that is why I somewhat cringe at the pretty flower that Sorrow has so decided to call me sometimes. Because me, my mother, and all my siblings are named after plants, specifically poisonous ones.
Sparrow said, "It's definitely very good to know. To say the least of it."
I thought it only fair to know if you were making the decision to be by my side for any extended amount of time. I'm honestly sorry I could not tell you sooner.
Sparrow said, "No, no, I completely understand. It's not information you give away on a whim. But, seeing as we're like to be acquainted for a while."
They nods at all of this. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
But yeah, this is what I really look like. And so you can probably also see why I couldn't just reveal it to everyone.
Of course. I understand completely.
And then Sorrow comes storming into the room and goes, "Ah, you revealed it to them. Now you must die," and then kills you.
Also, you assume
And
Sarah would do it herself.
Sparrow said, "Right." I sigh and remove my coat, then begin to remove my top as well.
Use stripper music.
well,
Apologies if I seem distracted. I'm planning our inevitable level up. I just had an ADHD. That's really it.
didn't I tell you guys to level up at the end of last session?
Yeah, level 4.
Oh, was this the game I was supposed to level up in? Fuck. I'm planning our current level up. Shit, did I update my sheet? What are we, level 4 now?
Yes, we are
Yes.
level 4.
Alright, cool. I did forget to do it. Alright, great. So I'm planning out this current level up like I should have done before. Haha, hee hee, hoo hoo.
Sparrow said, "Beneath the top and coat, it's revealed that the feathering on my face continues down the nape of my neck and curls around my torso, soft yellow, almost golden feathering. And where my lie button should be, there is a jewel."
It's funny, I'm trying so hard.
Yeah, so you got a navel piercing? What's the big deal?
It shimmers and shifts and shines with arcane energy. The color is deep golds and silvers, and its opulence is downright staggering.
Ah. So it seems I am not the only one who was transformed.
I like, haha, I see a common thread. She stops and really thinks about it and goes, "Oh, no, you guys already know about the whole..." Yeah, she lifts the side of her shirt for the scales and the dragon thing. By comparison, you've already known my whole thing. Oh,
Sparrow said, "My." I sigh deeply and shake my head. Former employer did this to me. They are more than likely somewhere out there looking for me. As we speak, hunting me down. We did not part on good terms. I did not part with their consent.
Seems we have much in common. My mother is a cruel mistress and honestly does not even deserve the title mother. Every mark on this body is hers. It's so nice that I can scar this up as much as I like and you can just cover it all up so easily. She knows only how to gain power through fear, which is why the way that I have seen Sorrow deal with things has been so foreign to me. It's why it's been so hard to accept.
Sparrow said, "Forgive me for my brazen claims, but my former employer might be the most terrifying thing I've ever met and is like to be the same for the both of you. I am important to him. And if he discovers where I am. If he discovers that I sigh again. I genuinely believe that by accepting Sorrow's offer, I will not only be endangering you too, but her and all she has. All the people who work for her.
Yeah, at least my mother is still mortal. I have a feeling your former employer is not so.
I
Suppose by comparison, you don't have to worry about me turning into a dragon, nor do you have to worry about some stray dragon coming to find me. I think on my end, we'll all be okay.
Oh, you poor child. You've been dropped into a situation that you should never have been.
You know, you don't know. She might turn into a dragon one day. That would be scary.
For who?
The
Somebody.
enemies.
For Faye, especially.
Who would that even be scary for? Well, yeah, her, for one. I think this little heart to heart is a good place to end the session.
Yeah,
Sure.
definitely.
I'll go finish actually leveling up.
and it prevents us from going for another 7.5 hour one.
Yeah.
It was a good time to stop.
Rena's not allowed to do that. He has to be a responsible adult.
Well, you're just told we have to be responsible adults. You know what that means, everybody? We're doing a 9.5 hour session today.
No.
I will kill the internet.
You can't kill the internet. It's beyond our ability to kill.
I mean, she could kill my internet.
That's not killing the internet. That's killing access to the internet.
You don't want to take the extra skill in.
You want no? I will turn the sharks into Godzilla sharks so they can finish eating the Ethernet in the sea.
Damn.
Deception, maybe.
Okay, so is there any other business before I jump out of here?
No, not especially.
Okay. In that case... Babe, sushi or wolf?
Sparrow said, "I'll be right back, then Red Heart."
Wolf. Pirates.
Okay.
Oh. I'm not going to conspire with the GM about this choice I'm making.
Okay.
Ooh. I'm being conspired with instead of against.
I said I'm not going to conspire with you because I need to conspire
So
against
we
you.
are going to be reading our friend Wolf Zero. He is playing like a dragon pirate yakuza in Hawaii. Okay, that's
It's
interesting.
phenomenal. It's phenomenal.
If you are subscribed to me, this raid message is what you should use. If not, this one works just as well. and we will be heading that way.
In the land of crystal skies, wings of ice they mesmerize, dancing through the frozen air, draconic fairy bright and rare, sparkling breath of frosty glow, chasing dreams in ice and snow, through the valleys high and low, magic where the chill winds blow. Playful dragon, fairy of ice, whisper secrets cold and nice, gliding on the winter's breeze, spreading wonder with such ease. Frosty fields and icy trees, echoes of her laughter please. Every step a frosty touch, mystic charm and joy as such. When the twilight starts to fade, in the worlds of friends she's made, secrets of the frost unfold, stories ancient never told. Playful dragon, fairy of ice, whisper secrets cold and nice, gliding on the winter's breeze, spreading wonder with such ease. Playful dragon, fairy of ice, whisper secrets cold and nice, gliding on the winter's breeze.